of you guys are here for this, and then our weekly preview. Um, our rankings dropped. Not any movement within the top four. Shocker. Is there really much that sticks out to you in terms of any of the rankings? I think
All right,
really
let me
the
get
big.
mad as a Texas fan. Let me get
I
mad.
was gonna say the big
Let
thing
me
for
do it.
me is Texas for like Michigan being ranked in front of Texas, and I saw a lot of Texas fans being like, "Well, only if there was a common opponent for us to
Yep.
judge them."
Yep.
Well, guess
Yep.
what? Guess what? 2 losses is better than 3 losses.
That's the difference.
Like
That's the only difference.
it's a big difference.
The only difference is that seemingly and why I am upset is because this past week, okay, let's do this past week. Texas beat a non-bowl eligible Arkansas team by 15 points at home. They scored 50 points against the worst SEC defense in, the conference. I'm not going to argue that. They are power rated on FPI at 36th. Michigan beat Maryland on the road, a non-bowl eligible Maryland team, by 25. They're power rated 70th. So again, like, if you are going based on what this past week did, because Texas was ranked higher than Michigan a week
Which
ago,
is funny. Yeah.
if you are going based on that, then Michigan did not do enough to leapfrog Texas. That is my argument. And you get into the resumes of it all. Like, Texas obviously has the better wins. They don't have the loss. Like, Michigan's losses are better than Texas's losses, and they have fewer of them. Not arguing that. Texas has many better wins, including the common opponent you mentioned. This to me is the committee saying there ain't no chance in hell we're putting a three loss team in. That is what I think the committee is saying here. And obviously, if Michigan already leapfrogged them, if Michigan beats the common opponent Ohio State and Texas lost, well, there you go. There's your kicker. Texas needed a parlay like kind of scenario anyway going into the Arkansas game. Since the Georgia loss, I have not been sitting on my horse saying like they're definitely going to make it. I still think they have a chance, but there was no like, well, if they just win out and they get like a Utah loss, no, like I just don't think so. Because you think about last year, like if BYU is 11-1, they face UCF this week, and we'll talk about it. If they beat UCF and lose in the Big 12 title game, they're 11-2. Say Texas beats A&M, they're 9-3. That's the exact scenario SMU and Bama was last year. So like a lot of people are doing the brand that they're just gonna put in the brand. They're just gonna put in Texas. They didn't last year. Like why do you think they're just the committee cares the most about how few losses do you have? And that's what upsets me is because and you think about there are two glaring results. Ohio State beating Texas by a single score and it not working in Texas's favor. Yes, it makes them the highest 3-loss team, but outside of that it eliminates them from the playoff. The other one is Miami beat Notre Dame. And everybody's kind of just like scratched that from their record. I saw someone, and again, it's NBC and it's Notre Dame Network, but I saw on NBC one of their halftime shows. It's like I would still rank Notre Dame higher than Miami, and I wouldn't sweat about it. I think they're better now. We shouldn't look at these games in a vacuum in week 1. Then don't play the damn games. All right? Then take away the week 1 results. If your argument is, well, it's so far away. It's week 1. Who cares? Then why ever play these games anymore? If Texas misses out, I still stand by this. If Texas misses out because they're 9-3, I'm going long. Because they scheduled Ohio State instead of UCF at home, that's going to tick me off. That's going to make me upset because that sets the precedent. Just chase as few losses as you can get. Don't give a damn about how many top 10 wins do we have, how many this, that. How good does our resume look? Just make sure you don't lose as many games as somebody else. And that's kind of my whole overarching opinion on this point.
Well, that's to my point, and it's something that we had talked a lot about in terms of like the comments that Kurt Signetti had even made about like, oh well, we're just doing an SEC scheduling. I am very, very worried about the implications that a scenario in which Texas beats Texas A&M and still is out will have on the sport. Because if Texas does, if Texas, I don't want to say pull off the impossible, but if Texas can upset Texas A&M and win that game and still miss it, I think we will see a crazy shift in terms of the entire landscape of college football, of everyone just trying to do their best Indiana impression in terms of scheduling. Like, we are just going to schedule a whole bunch of nobodies, and we are only going to play the people within our conference, and we will only play tough games if we have to. And other than that, we are going to play Kansas State. We're going to play Indiana State. We're going to play FIU. Like, and I'm worried that we will see a drastic shift in the landscape of college football if Texas wins this game and still misses the playoffs. And it will make me absolutely sick. And I'm interested into seeing the impact that it might have. But again, who knows? Not that I'm wishing this for you, Matt, but this conversation might be mute if Texas has to finish this job.
Yes, thank you. Because just win the game. Just win the game. Texas has an opportunity to take a very disappointing season in which they were ranked the number 1 team in the country in the preseason. Whether that's justified or not, they were. Yeah. They have an opportunity to still compete for a double-digit win season with Sark in this midst of chaos. This is Arch Manning the greatest bust in college football history? That was a real topic. And they have an opportunity to beat the A&M Aggies and beat the OU Sooners in the same season and finish with 10 wins and finish as a top 15 team in the country with momentum of coming back. Because your 2 best players are coming back next year in the quarterback, Arch Manning, and Colin Simmons, the edge rusher. So, again, you can hit the ground running, buy me an offensive line in the offseason. Could this be this, could this, as easily as I say, they could still be 10-3, as easily, they could lose by, 2 touchdowns against A&M and just not show up for, a bowl game that, doesn't matter. And it's an 8-5, barely ranked top 25 football team. And I wouldn't, argue that. That's still plausible with the way the season has gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we go back to the question that I think I had asked you on the very first episode that the college rankings came out. What is the number in terms of the rankings that we're looking at you think the cutoff is for teams that can still feasibly make the playoffs? Is it the gap between 16 and 17? Because that's kind of where my eye is. Anyone past Texas, so USC and beyond. So USC, Virginia, Tennessee, ASU, SMU.
So on Virginia and so can forth, still make obviously. It winning the ACC. So
okay.
So the
outside
the way,
of Virginia.
Yeah. So the way to look at this is the ACC champ will get an automatic bye. They do not have a top 10 team, and Miami theoretically cannot make the title game. By the way, so they're at 12. They really can't make the title game for the auto bye. And then the G5 will obviously get a spot. So you need to be an at-large team. You need to get into the top 10. So
yes.
Look at the top 10. Again, it's Alabama's at Auburn, Notre Dame, Stanford, OU is LSU, I think. It's kind of an uphill battle for any of those teams to lose. But for me, Utah at 13 continues to baffle me. But they've had some monster results, I guess. They haven't had the wins, but they've had monster results. I guess I'll throw in Texas just to do the bit. I don't think Texas or Michigan have a chance, and maybe Michigan does because they have an opportunity to win against the number 1 team. But again, that's a lot of leapfrog. And even if they're
You would-
10-2 with even if they win and everybody in that top 10 wins, Alabama just beats Auburn and OU beats LSU and Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl. Do you think Michigan theoretically could leapfrog into that with their resume? Because then it becomes a resume debate. I don't think so. So
no.
I'll say as far as like if everybody wins, I think Miami is the deepest cutoff.
Okay. So, flip side to that.
If chaos happens, obviously, yes, there is
Yes,
there is a
yes.
chance. I don't want that to like just be glossed over.
Yes. Flip side to that. What do you think? Who do you, at this point in the season, regardless of the outcome this weekend, who are the teams at this point in the season do you think are locks? For me, I think it is 1 through 5. Again, there would have to be a lot to swing, I guess, the wrong way in terms of this conversation for 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But who do you think on the flip side of that is a lock shoe in? It does not matter what happens at all this weekend. They're making the playoffs.
I'll do the top 4, and like Texas Tech is the 99.999%, because like if they do lose to West Virginia, like there is a chance they're not in. They're not in the top 10, right? Just because of how far they dropped. Talking about the committee, dropped Alabama after losing to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is a very it's the 8th overall team, so obviously there is that like respect for that team, where West Virginia is like fighting for their lives and it isn't a good Big 12 team. Like if Texas Tech were to lose, I think you. So I'll say that, but like even Georgia at 10-1, if they lose to Georgia Tech, they're still in. Like that's still a pretty easy loss to like, I guess, even though Georgia Tech like sucks. I'm just gonna say like they suck. I think Georgia's still in, but I think the top 4.
Okay. Yeah, I can I follow everything you're saying outside of the Haynes King disrespect there, but I digress.
It's not even him, it's their defense. Like their defense just cannot stop anybody, and you're in the ACC, dude. Like
yes. Oh yeah. Is there anything else before I let you kind of take over the show here and preview the matchups?
Shout out Arizona. Arizona and Arizona State's going to be a top 25 matchup this year. After the disaster, like Jetfish left Arizona very late in the process a year ago to go to Washington after DeBoer takes Alabama. So they have to hire Brent Brennan from the G5, who's been around the block, but at San Jose State, and they had a pretty disastrous season. Even though they had a top 10 pick on their football team, they kind of run it back. They make some adjustments, and they're 8-3, and they're in the college football rankings. In going into rivalry week against Arizona State, a team they lost 45-0 last year. Like it wasn't even close. So this game to like mean something now, 2 top 25 opponents, I think is awesome. They've had a great season. Narduzzi wasn't lying when he talked about how the Notre Dame game doesn't mean a damn because it ain't ACC, and they beat Georgia Tech to leapfrog into 22. SMU is finally ranked. That's been a long time coming. USC didn't drop too far, but again, like they dropped out of the playoff race. But I'm kind of buying what Lincoln's selling me at USC, especially this year. They're going to bring in a good 26 recruiting class. So again, if you can get some of that stuff right, you could have that happen. And then like outside of that,
Mayaba's basically coming back at this point too. Like,
yeah,
I mean, nothing is a guarantee, but I mean, at this point, you can Mayaba in Lane or
the only way he wouldn't come back is if they want to start Husson Longstreet, who they flipped from A&M a year ago, and they've kind of mixed him in. He's a 4 or 5-star. So again, if they want to move on, like make the pushing out of Will Howard to upgrade Avery Johnson kind of vibe, like that Kansas State did, like you could see that to turn to the better recruit. But if you want Mayava, I think he's going to be around. And then lastly, I mentioned it, the G5. I think the team that wins the American is going to get that spot. I just think they have consistently ranked the American. Memphis has been at this spot. Tulane has been at this spot multiple times. A few weeks ago, we thought North Texas would be at the spot. I just don't think that. Sorry, JMU. You guys are going to have a great 11-1 season, but the one major opponent you had was Louisville, and Louisville continues to tumble. They're 7-4 now, and that was like your main loss. And they lost by 14. They lost on like a Thursday night early in the season, and the Sun Belt is just not power rated high. It just isn't. Like they don't have a lot of wins outside of the conference that mean anything, is what I'll say. Where the American, Tulane beat Northwestern, Tulane beat Duke, Memphis beat Arkansas, like USF beat Florida. So like
Florida.
Again, are those teams good? I don't know, but they have a lot more sustaining power in those conferences and for those resumes than anybody the Sun Belt beat. The Sun Belt is kind of just one of those punching bags like the MAC. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. If you want to carry us on